Hi, everybody, and welcome to the Thriving LDS Singles Podcast. We're so excited to have you here and my co-host, Kim. Hi, Kim.
Hello.
Hi. And today we want to talk about a topic that we think is very important for the singles, which is lifting others in our single community. And we know that so many people are feeling lonely and left out. And, you know, most singles have been hurt in their life. I guess most people have, but singles particularly got hurts. And we're going to talk about how we can lift. And we're going to use, is it Elder Gong's talk from our last conference?
Yeah, he gave an amazing talk. So we'll use a couple resources, but he gave an amazing talk about ministering basically to the one. No one sits alone. So is what he called it.
And I think that's so important, isn't it? Because we feel so alone so often.
Yeah.
And yet that's not the gospel. You know, we talk about the stakes and getting everybody together and it's our family.
Yeah.
And I think in the singles community in particular, we should see each other as family.
Yeah. I think that's true.
Yeah. And I thought one of the bits that it described it was the Apostle Paul's vision, where he saw the blanket come down and all of the animals, so all of the ones that the Jewish community thought were bad animals, were in this blanket. And he was like, what does this vision mean? I don't understand this vision. Why have you collecting all of the, the good animals and all of the bad animals? And then he obviously was inspired to understand the vision, which means that actually the church is collecting everybody from every nation, kindred, tongue, people.
Yeah.
And people understood that. And even the other apostles were struggled to understand where he was coming from with that.
Yeah. And it is easy. I mean, especially just think about going to a single event. And you go into the single event and it's easy to start combing the group and putting people in categories. And we really need to see everybody as a child of God and really connect to him. And that's a lot of what he talks about in this talk is everyone is at home. And in our case, we're referring to single adult activities. And that also means coming to the activities, because a lot of times we say that, I don't know about you, but I'll say, it'll be all the same people. There's no reason for me to go, or I don't want to go. And that's really not the intent or the purpose of those activities. So I think it's really important that we talk about it.
Well, that's right. I mean, first off, there's no one to date. I was like, well, they're not dating activities. Like, that's not the point. And it's not even the point to go and just hang out with your friends.
Yes.
Like, it's easy to hang out with the people we like. I mean, obviously that's really fun.
Yeah.
But if we're trying to make this community and this family, then we need to with everybody, and everybody needs to feel welcome.
Yeah. It's so true. And it's actually a great talk. He talks a lot about some of the principles in the scriptures that refer to this. So he has a few references of different parables. He talks about the parables of the Great Supper and the wedding feast. And he says, in these parables, invited guests make excuses not to come.
Yeah.
So that kind of hit hard because I do that a lot, you know.
You ever sort of like someone's putting on all this effort to put on this dance and they're going to decorate and and it's like, oh yeah, but I'm tired. I've got other things to do. So we're making excuses to not go to the wedding feast, which in this case would be some single activity.
Yeah. And he says, the master instructs the servants to go out quickly into the streets and lanes of the city and the highways and hedges to bring in hither the poor, maimed, halt, and blind, spiritually speaking. That's each of us. And that really is true. You know, we are all, in a sense, have something going on with us, or, in some way we're maimed or blind or all of the things. And it's really about having everybody participate and come together. I think that's really important.
Right. So it is a bit of like a smack over the wrist, isn't it? It's sort of like, no, I don't want to associate with those people. And it
Yeah.
says, well,
Yeah.
we are those people. Like, what are you
Yeah.
talking about? Like,
Well, and can't remember if I've ever said this on a podcast, but I was at a dance once, at one of the singles dances, and one of the men, I was just chatting with one of the men there, and he said that his brother, when he was a bishop, and a couple would come in that was having marital problems, and he would say, just go to a singles dance and you'll be cured of any marital problems you could possibly have. And we laughed about it and said, yeah, that's true. And here we are at the dance. We're one of the people. So so we say it in jest, but we need to just learn how to love and accept and encourage
right.
everybody to be there.
That's right. It's easy to make the joke when you're in a marriage, but we're actually the people there now. So it's not a joke anymore. It's our reality.
Yeah.
And
And
it is. I think that's what the talk really says. It's our job to make sure everybody feels welcome. It's not, it's not the wedding feast one, I think, is a really good where, the people that, maybe we want to hang out with are the ones who are saying no to the wedding feast and the others are coming. And yet,
right.
What's the quote at the end of that he says, like, these are God's people. This is.
Yeah. He says, is this the part? All nations shall be invited unto a supper of the house of the Lord.
Mm.
Yeah.
We're all invited to this supper, and every single one of the people around us are God's children. They're all loved and wanted. And
yeah, it goes on to say, today, those invited to the supper of the Lord come from every place and culture, old and young, rich and poor, local and global. We make our church congregations look like our communities. So he's just reinforcing that, nobody is excluded, really.
And so I think you made the point that if we sort of feel like that's not our group, then that's actually being fairly selfish.
Yeah.
Like, why do we think we're better than others or smarter than others or
somehow we don't belong in the group when that is the group,
Which part of us doesn't belong?
Yeah, exactly. And I think there are many who don't go to them because they feel that way. And yet just think how different things would be if everybody came, if everybody got up and came. I know we talked a little bit too of, I have this weird thing about, I really do like to sit in church alone. And but maybe, and I do that for my own reasons, to have kind of my solace and get spiritually fed and kind of replenish my soul for the week. But maybe there's somebody that's sitting alone there that really needs somebody to sit next to them, and I shouldn't be so selfish about just coming and being focused on what it is I need to get out of the meeting that day. And
I think so, because isn't that what we're told, is that the church is gathering so that we can support each other?
Yeah.
And so going and just doing your own thing and leaving, you're actually not feeling the full, so sure, the sacrament is an important part, spiritually uplifted is an important part. Yeah. But feeding others is a big part of it too.
Yeah.
So, Kim, maybe.
I know, it's for those introverts, that's not that easy, but.
So, and there are people sitting alone who don't want to be alone. And I guess that's the bit about getting to know the real person, not just looking at them and thinking, oh, I don't want to sit next to that person, but get to know. I've got a story from a number of years ago, and it was a Relief Society event, and we were going to doing a temple trip, and we lived nearly an hour from the temple, so it was it's a decent trip, and everybody was piling into someone's big van that they had, and there was two people or one person that didn't fit in the van, and so I was asked if I would take my car and take this old lady, if I would do that. And of course I was feeling really like, oh, I want to be with the group, I want to have the fun of the trip, I don't want to be with her. She frail old lady. Like, what am I gonna do?
Love the
And
face.
but being the good little obedient person, I said, yes, of course I can do that. Well, we had a wonderful trip because we got onto some of her story, and because frail little old ladies have lived a life.
Yeah.
And I didn't know that she'd done all the traveling that she'd done, the jobs that she'd done, it's like this was a really interesting person.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I do seem to have to keep learning that lesson, which is a bit sad. I keep having that lesson. But, get to know people. People
Mhm.
are really interesting. And just because now they're frail or they're old or they're struggling with other issues doesn't mean that they're not a good person, not a nice person, not someone you could have a good conversation with.
Yeah, or really enjoy spending some time with for sure, or
Yeah.
learn something from. Me, the learner, always wants to learn from someone, but yeah,
And so, yeah, we're making judgments, and of course, once we're making judgments, we're on the wrong side of
yeah,
the Lord's gospel.
yeah, yeah. And Elder Gong talks a little bit about too. At one part, he tells a story about a boy that had gotten made fun of at church, sadly. And at the end of that story, he says, on the dusty roads to Jericho, each of us has been laughed at, embarrassed and hurt, perhaps scorned or abused. And with varying degrees of intent, each of us has also disregarded, not seen or heard, perhaps deliberately hurt others. It is precisely because we have been hurt and have hurt others that Jesus Christ brings us all to his inn. In his church and through his ordinances and covenants, we come to each other and to Jesus Christ. So
That is a really good, like, yeah, reworking of that parable.
yeah, that's what we want. Yeah, yeah, it's beautiful.
We're all of that.
Yeah,
We're the person that's broken and hurt, and in God's kingdom,
yeah,
that's
it's true. Well,
things look at.
and singles, we are. I mean, that is us, We've all been through some really hard things. The other thing there that spawned wanting to do this discussion is I'm doing the remote for singles, single adults, emotional resilience, self-reliance course.
Okay, do that
So
again. So it's the self-reliance course, but
on
pause
emotional resilience,
on emotional resilience.
and it's remote, so anyone can join. And but it's all single adults. So we're all single adults. We are on like the last lesson is next week. So I'm hoping we can do it again because it has really been beneficial. I think we've all really enjoyed it, those that have attended. But one of the sections is on lifting and serving others, and it talks about myths of helping others. And I do think there are some myths that I thought would be beneficial to go through and maybe chat about a little bit.
Sounds good because yeah, we could
Yeah, we
learn.
all get kind of sucked into these. So the first myth is I am 100% responsible for providing others the help they need.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think we kind of all get stuck in that, right? Like the myth is that it's all up to us to
Hmm.
save or to help or to fix the problem, whatever it is the person is coming to us with. But we have to keep in mind that the Savior is really the only true healer of souls, and that we can be a part of that community and part of that healing, but we're not 100% responsible for solving the problem. So, and that can feel
Very
like a
important.
real burden. Like people can say, I don't want to get involved because
Hmm.
I can't be 100%. I can't fix the problem. So that was the first myth. Myth two, I should be the expert on solving others' problems.
Sort of a bit like the first one, isn't it? Like
It
it's
is.
all up to me.
Yeah. Well, and maybe they don't even need you to solve a problem. Maybe they just need a good listening, kind, loving ear and just need to be heard. And
How
it's
many
not
times
about
is that
fixing at all.
that, that how many times is that the solution? Like just someone listen to me. That's all I want, to be heard,
Yeah.
to be seen.
Yeah. And we have to remember that it's up to the person. You know,
Yeah.
there's no way we can actually do anything. Like we can be there to lend support and love, but um, we are in a world of free agency, and so it's not up to us to fix the problem. We can't do that. They have to be motivated themselves to do that. So,
Oh, isn't that the hardest thing about parenting adult children?
yeah, yeah.
I
That's
know
very
what to do here. I just listen to me.
That's so true. All right, the third myth. There are quick fixes to life's problems.
Mm.
Wouldn't that be nice? I mean, we always are looking for the quick fix, right? But some things, the truth is, it just takes a while, and time is a big factor, and it takes multiple efforts of, trying things over and over again and relapses. I mean, who knows what? But things typically aren't solved overnight. So that's a hard one
I've
too.
learnt that with grief in particular. It
Yeah.
it it takes time and long time, not weeks. I remember, yeah, 6 months after my husband died, I was like, why aren't I better yet? Why aren't I sort of full of energy and doing stuff? I want to be happy. I want to live a life.
Yeah.
And I went to a counselor, like, what's wrong with me? And she said, it takes 2 years.
Yeah.
And I was, what? 2 years?
Well, and so for some, it could be even longer, right? I mean, that's just like an average.
Yeah. And I was like, but I'm capable. I'm intelligent. I know what to do. It should
Yeah.
go faster. And she's going,
Yeah.
no, it takes time.
Yeah. And that is the challenge with the instant gratification world that we live in. So that's
Mm.
a hard one.
And I imagine the grief with divorce is the same. It takes time. It's like
Yeah.
the whole world's just been tipped upside down. It's not a quick fix.
Yeah.
Like,
Myth 4. I don't know the right thing to say, so it's better I don't say anything.
mm. Haven't we had that with grief,
Grief.
particularly?
Yeah, particularly
My
with
first
grief.
experience was a friend whose baby died of SIDS, sudden infant death syndrome.
Yeah.
Guess we were, early 20s.
Mm.
I avoided her. I had no
That's,
idea what to say. I
yeah.
do forgive myself. I was like 21 years old. I was saying
Yeah. Yeah. It's
something.
hard.
I feel like going up to her now and saying, so sorry, I dealt with that so badly. But,
Yeah.
you know, there isn't anything to say. Nothing's going to make it better.
Yeah. And it's important to remember that most of the time we don't have to say much at all. We just need to be there for the other person.
That's right. Because no words are going to. And
Yeah.
don't say stupid stuff. Oh,
Yeah. There's plenty of things not to say. It's better to just, you know, lend a
put your hand
hug
on their
and sit with
shoulder.
them.
Yeah.
And yeah. Yeah.
Sit with them.
All right. Myth number 5. I think this is the last one. If I help at all, they will always become dependent on me. That's a hard one too.
That's a hard one because I guess we've all had a bit of experience of that, haven't we? Where
Yeah.
you help somebody and then they want more help and more
Yeah.
help.
And if your tendency is to be a little codependent or to enable people, then you're kind of on guard about that. Like, I
Mm.
need to really watch myself. So I better not do anything because I'll go over the top or enable somebody or, create a dependency I can't sustain. So those are all definitely things to worry about.
So I think we did a podcast, didn't we, Kim, about like
Yeah.
how to know
Well, definitely we did one on boundaries and
and
setting
boundaries.
boundaries. That's a big
Yeah.
key to
Go
that
back and
too.
look at that one. If that's one that a myth that you fall into and you sort of either do everything or you do nothing, go and look at boundaries because
Yeah.
like there are people that will ask a lot of you
Yeah.
and being able to say no is righteous as well. Like it's okay to say no.
Yeah.
And that means that then it's okay to say yes because you can help them out this time and next time that you can say no.
Yeah.
It's allowed. and we do get a bit caught up in that, don't we? Of like, oh, but we have to be helping people all the time. It's what God wants us to do, is helping people
Yeah.
all.
And
But
I've really had to contemplate it a lot, like where, like if in my heart I want to give and do something and I don't feel like I'm being taken advantage of, or I don't have that sense, I don't feel resentful about it or any of those things, then sometimes I think that's just who I am, and it's okay for me to do that. You know what I mean? Like it is, but it is hard for me to consider, if I'm going too far or teaching somebody to, being an enabler basically is how I put it. But
okay, yeah. But we are meant to give and help,
yeah,
and use our talents, but we aren't meant to, like, was it that don't run faster than you don't
yeah, yeah,
say don't run faster than you're able, like, so that's about learning about ourselves and knowing where that boundary is,
yeah.
but not having it from the selfish point of view. Oh, I don't really like them, I don't want to do that.
Yeah, I was really touched by Elder Gong's talk. It was again one of those afternoon or Saturday afternoon ones where I feel like the whole kind of Saturday evening, I should say, Saturday evenings group of talks were really, I think, relevant to singles.
Mm.
But
So I read a talk by Elder Uchtdorf, which is the Stand Where You Are, which I
yeah,
thought fitted as well. And he's got that one about the trying to move the piano. It's like, yeah. But he goes on to our callings, and that all of the callings are important, and you don't have to. And he says that if you think that, look, I could be the bishop or the Relief Society president, I could do a better job. He says that's pride, and that's not standing where you are. But he says equally, if you sort of like, no, I'm too busy, I can't do it. No, he says that's also pride,
yeah,
because you think the things you want to do are more important.
yeah, that's true.
And so yeah. So it was a very interesting thing about, stand where you are, and if visiting, teaching, home teaching is your calling, then that's the calling. That's an important calling.
Yeah.
I guess I get caught on that. I teach 5-year-olds in primary, and I'm thinking, that's not. I'm a really good teacher. I can do more than this. But
Oh, right.
yes, so that's pride. Like
Yeah.
that's not. I repent, everybody. I promise. Because they're sweet, and it's all little active boys too. Just to add,
There's a whole
hey,
new test of things going on in that class, huh?
yeah, I have no idea if any part of the lesson gets through, and yet those little boys say hi to me and they like me, and they're
Yeah.
I'm doing my job by standing in my place and doing my job.
Yeah, I
My
love
call,
that.
and they're all just as important.
Yeah.
And I don't want the job of being primary president or Relief Society president. Thank you very much.
Yeah, be careful what you wish for, huh?
So yeah, so that's really important
Yeah.
that you support the singles.
Yeah. And there's a couple, I mean, maybe these are good items to close on. In Elder Gong's talk, he said that, well, he was referencing a scripture in First Nephi 19, where he said, even the very God of Israel do they trample under their feet. They set him at naught. Wherefore they scourge him, and he suffereth it, and they smite him, and he suffereth it. Yea, they spit upon him, and he suffereth it. My friend, Professor Terry Warner, says the judging, scourging, smiting, and spitting were not occasional events that occurred only during Christ's mortal life. How we treat each other, especially the hungry, the thirsty, those left out alone, is how we treat him. And I do
Mm.
think we need to keep that in mind. And then he just closes by saying, let us genuinely welcome, acknowledge, minister to, love. May each friend, sister, brother not be a foreigner or a stranger, but a child at home. And I
That's
love
beautiful.
that thought of being a child at home because,
Child at home.
that's, yeah.
So we need to make that a single adult like motto.
Yes.
That's
yeah. I love that.
all right. So hopefully everybody that we are now going to lift others in our single community and make them part of our family.
Yeah. And maybe that is the sacrifice is just going and attending the activities singles events and just participating a little bit.
Supporting those people who are putting all that effort into setting them up and supporting those who come.
Yep.
All right. Thank you,
All
Kim.
right.
I think that's a really valuable topic. Hopefully everybody's
I hope
enjoyed
so.
that. We'd love to hear your feedback, things that you think are important in this.
Yeah. Thank you. Thanks, everybody. Thanks, Kay.
Bye.